Social innovators or disruptors in communities where traditional actors or the market has failed are needed more than ever in the current COVID-19 pandemic. This is especially true as health and economic impacts hit the excluded, the vulnerable, and those in the informal economy the hardest. Of numbers. According to the Schwab Foundation 2020 Impact Report, social innovators have improved the lives of more than 622 million people in 190 countries. They've also distributed $6.7 billion in loans, mitigated more than 192 million tons of carbon dioxide, improved education for more than 226 million children. What this means is that the indirect benefits that have emerged through the efforts of social entrepreneurs extend well beyond their goals, especially through increased economic opportunities and better government policies. I spoke with Paromita Goswami, professor of marketing and social innovation at Shiv Nadar University's School of Management and Entrepreneurship and author of Marketing Peace, published by Cambridge Scholars. Professor Goswami says the principles of social marketing, or SM, does indeed work, and that systems can change. Professor Goswami, welcome to The Feminist Perspective.
Thank you so much for having me in the show.
So let's begin. What does social marketing look like to you, and how can this be implemented during a crisis?
So social marketing is basically using of commercial marketing principles for voluntary behavior change for social good. So how it works during the COVID-19 crisis is we are looking at different kinds of behavior change. Like, for example, maintaining 2-meter physical distance at grocery store checkout counters, or working from home during this crisis. For things like this, social marketing can really help.
Very nice. Well, thank you. Now, in a global pandemic, there is always the hunt for blame. I've read reports that coronavirus is fanning religious hatred and gender-based violence. What do you think can be done to address ground-level issues related to physical distancing and wider lockdown?
I'm so glad that you asked this. This is something very close to my heart. And I worked on Muslim-Christian relationship for a year under the mentorship of Professor Jerry Zoltan of Harvard Business School. I also wrote a book on marketing of peace. So one of the things that happened just before Corona hit India, there was a major religious riot, and 53 people lost their lives in that riot. It's human nature to scapegoat the other, and that's what has been happening in this case as well. And there was a religious congregation which happened around that time, which was actually blamed for the spread of corona. While similar religious congregation also happened like Holi, and nobody was pointing that out. So some experts have pointed out sampling bias and intentional rumor mongering for that. So right now there are things like, for example, say gender-based violence has been increasing all over the world.
Right.
So even there, social marketing can really help because, what happens is when you are locked down in your home and the situation is different, this can be triggering for gender-based violence as well. That you need to be culturally sensitive. So things that can be done at the ground level right now is to have platforms which would bring together students, professors, marketing professionals to address these local level changes. It can be called Marketers for Humanity. And some of my students as a part of their courses have done such interventions, and we have impacted thousands of lives. So I think that is one way to go forward with.
So I have one follow-up question for you if you still have time. Can we talk a little bit about how-tos? How does one go about developing a community's capacity for imagination during this crisis?
Could be done. So one could be that the COVID-19 task forces that have been formed by governments all over the world have communication and public health professionals that are trained in social marketing paradigm. Number two, there could be platforms that bring together different kinds of stakeholders like communications expert, logistics, supply chain, health experts, epidemiologists, government officials, non-profit organizations at international, national, and state level. Now, the local chapters of these platforms could really develop localized, culturally appropriate social marketing interventions. And lastly, businesses can channelize their corporate social responsibility funds towards such local social marketing interventions.
Paromita Goswami, thanks so much for taking the time to be on The Feminist Perspective. We appreciate your views, and thank you for sharing them.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. It's an absolute pleasure.